Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In today's tutorial, we'll be learning how to draft two different kind of cowl neck. If it's something you're interested in, then let's get started. The first one we'll be learning are this kind of cowl neck, which is quite easy to draft. While the second one is the one that has pleats in the shoulder and it has drip in front, so just like this. I have drafted out my basic bodies. So to get started, I'm going to slash open my chest line. You can see that line, that armor line right there. I'm going to slash it open, but I will not be cutting it out. I'll just cut it to the edge of the armor. Once I'm done with that, I'll be closing up my dart. It is not necessary you draw out a dart once when you're drafting your pattern. So what I'm going to do is to close it up. After that, I'm going to bring a extra paper. I'm going to place it underneath the my bodies. I'll make sure it is on a straight line with the bodies. Then I'll go ahead to tape it down. The next thing I'm going to do is to open the slashed part. So depending on how deep you want your neckline to be, if you want your neckline to be around 8 inches or more than that, so you just measure from your shoulder line, you measure it to the center front. So mine is around, I think, 6 inches. I did 6 inches because I don't want it to be too deep. So I'm going to use a paper tape to hold it in place. After doing that, I'll be drawing a straight line from my shoulder line. I'm going to draw a straight line all through, as you can see. I went ahead to use a marker to make it more visible. I'm going to cut out my facing together with this pattern. So what I'm going to do is to fold the pattern in the remaining pattern. I'm going to fold it under the pattern right there. We are basically done with this. The next thing I'm going to do is to cut it out. After cutting, I'm going to open out the facing. When you are cutting your fabric, all you have to do is to place your pattern on a folded fabric. Your fabric has to be on a fold, then you just place the pattern on it and cut it out. So for the sewing, all you have to do is just to join the shoulder right there. That's all. Because I want the facing to match the shoulder, just the shoulder, I don't want it along the armhole. I'm going to cut it out on that shoulder point. I'm going to roll a straight line and cut the excess out. We are basically done drafting out the first one. So for the second one, which is the pleated one by the shoulder, I have already drafted out my pattern for this. Depending on the amount you want on the shoulder, you will divide your shoulder by the amount of pleats you want. I want mine to be 2 and I don't want it to be close to my armhole. So I'm going to mark it at 3 inches. So I'm going to divide the 3 inches into 2. So that's 1.5, 1.5. I'm going to mark it at 1.5. From my neck depth to my bust point, I'm going to divide it by 2 also. So if yours was 3 inches by the shoulder, you divide it by 3 inches. But mine is 2, so I'm going to divide it by 2 inches. Note that it's not on the shoulder line, it's on the bust point. What I'm going to do is to draw a curve from the shoulder line to the point on the neck depth. Just like I did for the first pattern, I'll be closing up my dart in this one too. After that, I'm going to connect a line from my bust point to my chest line. Then I'll go ahead and cut it out. I'll not cut it all the way through. I'll also cut out the curved line on my shoulder and my neck depth. I'll be placing a new pattern paper underneath my pattern. For this first part, I actually did not measure the distance between the opening. I just placed it on the pattern paper. And I also tried to make sure both pattern papers are on a straight line. After using a paper tape to place the first part, the next thing I did was to measure the distance between the shoulder area. I made the distance 1.5 because I don't want it to be bulky. While on that part, I made it 2 inches. I did the same for the second part. The top was 1.5, while the bottom part was 2 inches. I also make sure the shoulder slant is on a straight line. I went ahead to rearrange it again. What I did was to just open up that first pattern, then I measured it again. I will be drawing a line on the shoulder slope. I also draw a straight line along the center front. After that, I'm going to measure how deep I want my cowl neck to be. This is around 7.5 inches. Then I'm going to draw a straight line to the center front from the 7.5. From that line, I'm going to measure 4 inches upward. This will serve as my facing. On the shoulder slope, I'm going to draw a line just to confirm that it is a straight line. What I'm going to do next is to pleat the shoulder. After that, I'll draw a line for the shoulder slope. I'll be folding the remaining pattern underneath the main pattern so as to cut out my facing with the pattern. After that, I'll go ahead and cut out my pattern paper. I'm going to extend my center front line to the facing. I also went ahead to notch the parts where I'll be pleating, so when I'm sewing it, I will easily identify that part. I'll be trimming off the excess pattern paper on the center front. All you have to do is to place your pattern paper on a folded fabric, then you just cut it out. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. Bye.